Okay, good day. This is the lesson number 3 for the chapter number 7, the repetition control structures in Java. So if you happen to open this before sa lesson number 1 and lesson number 2, please check first the lesson number 1 and number 2 since there are some introductory discussion that was made on the previous videos that is needed for this class. Okay, so as we have discussed also, I already introduced to you the different types of loops in Java. So we have the while loop, we have the do while loop, and we have the for loop. So for today, we are going to have the do while loop since the lesson number 2 is all about the while loop. Okay, so I guess we can start. Now, lesson number 3, the do while loop. So the do while loop in Java is a repetition control structure that allows a code to be repeatedly based on a given condition. So repeated execution based on the condition. Until the condition is true, then it will going to repeat and repeat. Okay? Kapag false, it will exit na dayon. Okay. Now, this looping statement is also considered as repeating if statement, as is used also if the number of iterations is not fixed. Again, if you happen to check the video for the lesson number 2, it's very similar with the while loop. However, the delineation or difference lang between the while loop and the do while loop is the do while loop is executed at least once, or the statement is executed at least once, because the condition of the loop is validated after the body of the loop or the statement is executed. Now take a look at the flow chart for this one. So this is the structure of the do while loop. So once the process enters the loop, it first process or executes the statement. Katong ginapabalik-balik nato o pa-execute. Now, aya pa dahil niya i-check condition after pag-execute first time sa statement for execution. Thus, morning difference nila. Kasi when we recall on the while, si while loop kasi naguna si condition, aya si statement. So for this one, statement is being executed first. After that, condition, then this is optional, si increment or decrement, then aya pa din na siya mobalik dayon kang statement to be executed na pod balik. So pag condition is true na pod, balik na pod siya. Kapag condition is false, ay din siya mo exit sa ato ang loop. So again, the difference lang between the while loop and the do while loop is at least ma-execute ang ato ang statement once. Okay. Now, also for the syntax, we have the initialization, we have the do nga we call this one as the block, then the statement, the increment or decrement, again, is optional, and the while dayon which includes the condition. We're just going to write here, so si while na lang po para naatay makita nato ang ilahang difference dayon. Si while, ganito yung structure ni while. Okay? Para makita nato ang comparison between the while loop and we have the do while loop. So the condition is same, naagyapan ng condition inside the while. Tapos the increment and the statement is executed here. Is naasunod sa ano. So, here sa taas is we have the do while loop. Okay? Whereas sa baba is while loop. Discuss while loop in the previous lesson. Okay. Okay. So as you can see here, observe here, after initialization, both initialization, after initialization sa do while is execute ang statement before siya i-check ang condition. Whereas kang while loop is after sa initialization, the condition is being evaluated and validated first before siya i-execute. So pag mo false ni, automatically exit sa loop dili na ma-execute. Whereas pag abot sa do while, ma-execute sa first, regardless if the condition is true or false, then pag false, exit siya, pag turo mo balik na po dayon ang ato ang loop. Okay? Let's put that one in the perspective of code. Okay, so for example, let's have, let's say print hello world 5 times. Okay. So let's try first with the while loop. Okay. So we are going to use the initialization first. I is equal to 0. Then we are going to have while. So I is less than to 5. For sure, you're familiar with this one with our previous lesson. Then we have going to have a print statement here, which is on say hello world. Okay. Then the iteration plus plus para dili ma-infinite loop, magsige siya plus until such time na mo ning 5 nga ma-false dayon ang statement. So let's try to run the code first. Okay. Then expected we have 5 na hello world. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Now, next. So wala na problema ani. This is technically the result of the while loop kung execute na to ang loop using the while. Okay. So let me just put this one into comment. Okay. Let's have another one to i-try nga mogamit og do while. Okay. Now there are certain or there are some problems nga ma-solve similarly both, okay? But not all problems can be solved by do while and while loop at the same time. Okay? So na ay while, then ang condition, don't forget the semicolon after the close and open parenthesis. Then we have the same condition we're going to use less than 2, 5. Okay? So basically, if you can to check here, initialization, it's the same. Condition, it's the same. The iteration and the print is the same. And basically, the result is also the same. Okay? So, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Again, that's the same output from two different na looping structure that being utilized. So I'm just going to put this one into comment para maputa na to emphasis tong si ano dayon. Okay, si do while. Okay, now for this one, let me just put some changes lang dayon. Okay, so for example, I put here, instead of greater than to 5 or greater than to 5 or even dito na lang para mas dali ang changes niya. Okay? Instead of 0, if I'm going to put here 5, instead of 0, now, ang buhaton sa tong code on line 7 is it evaluate niya if the value of I is less than 5. Since it's 5, so is 5 less than 5, the result is false. So technically, di na siya i-execute. So walay result ang ato ang code ani. The rest is naka-comment man so wala na execution. Let's try this one in the result. Okay? And as you can see here, walay print nga nahitabo, walay print output niya, the process only exited. Again, this is the while nga loop. Okay? If the first condition sa while na loop is false, automatically wala niya or dili siya mosulod sa repetition or sa iyahang loop dayon. That is very different when we talk about the do while loop. Okay? As mentioned kanina, the do while loop execute once. So I'm changing the same thing from 0 to 5. We're not going to change na dayon anything from the code, but the result is very different dayon. Okay? So what we have here is the code or the hello world is printed once, then nag-exit na dayon. In contrary kanina, which execute 5 times. What happens to our code here is, first, we initialize by 5. Then, we execute dayon. Muna nga na-print dayon sa dire ang imuhang code or imuhang system at print once before dayon siya na-terminate since ang imong condition is false. Okay? So, I will get to give you 2 minutes to check on the code and to possibly internalize probably sa content sa ato ang coding nga structure. Okay, so again, in comparison, the structure is has a major difference given where the condition is placed and where the statement to be repeated is also placed. So while condition first, while do while is execution first. So this is where na dayon, once you have a problem, you need to verify first if iparan mo na to ang code sinugdanan or ipabalik, if at least ipa-execute na to once or not. Okay? There are different nga mga problems to going to face also. That's why you need to understand which loop is best used for different na mga scenario. Okay? So, let's have another problem. Okay. So, so the problem will be, let's have require user to enter a number. Okay? Number that is less than 5. Okay? If the number is not less than 5, require the user to enter a new number. So, simply put, kapag mag-enter ang user o value, kapag less than 5, i-accept na to. If the number is greater than, less than 5, or 5 or above, since 5 is not less than to 5, magpare-enter na po ta og value na po dayon. So meaning ang accepted lang nato nga values is 1, 2, 3, 4, 0 or mga negative. Okay? Kaya those are less than 5. Kapag 5 and or greater than 5, matic, the user will go in or the program will require the user to re-enter a new number. Okay? So let's have a do while problem. Going to use this one. Then we have our main method. Now for this one, we'll just be using user input. So it's going to have the input, the van that you did, that scanner. Then we're going to instantiate an object from the class scanner. Object scan is equal to new scanner. We have the system that in. Okay. Then we're going to initialize declare value. Let's say number is equal to 0. So this will be the one to hold the value dayon ni enter ni user. Okay. Then let's have print. Say enter a number. Enter a number. Okay. Then we have num is equal to object scan that next int. Okay. So the next int will be utilized since the data type of num is integer. Okay. So let's try the code muna at this level. Let's check if it works. Then ahead mo proceed dayon sa complications, which is ipa-require pa re-enter depende sa values sa code. So enter a number. So once I'm going to enter 88, supposedly dapat magpaano ni siya, mag-i-repeat ni nga execution para mo enter na pod og bag-o nga number until such time maka-enter siya og value nga less than to 5. Okay? Just going to remove the ln para dili kayo kuan. Okay? So try to rerun the program once again. Ito, okay? So dapat okay ni siya nga execution. Okay, less than 5 man. Okay? Kapag dili siya less than 5, magpa-repeat siya. So pag mo-enter ko 6, it's not less than 5. So dapat mo repeat na siya nga part sa code. This is where na dayon magamit ang atoang do while. Kasi kapag while ang gamito nato ani, we don't know the value nga gi-enter pa ni user. It's not determined yet. So, it's best if i-run na nato siya ang code, i-run sa ato ni siya once using the do, ay pa nato siya i-condition, kaya pag i-condition nato, ay pa din siya mobalik dayon. Okay? So, thus, we're going to use the do. Ato na siyang isulod sa do nga ato ang structure or block. Okay? So, we'll proceed with while. So, kapag while, we put the semicolon there. So, while. So, ano yung condition nato? While daw, number na gi-input ni user is less than to 5. Okay? But for this instance, kapag true man gud ni siya, mo balik. Kapag false ni siya, mo exit. Okay? So instead of putting that 1 to less than, we put is 1 to greater than. Kaya kung greater than to 5 siya, ibalik ta ni og pa-execute. Okay? Again, if greater than siya, kung greater than, mubalik man siya pa-enter. Kung mag-enter siya o 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on and so forth up to pila ba lang ang value dira. So, ang result ana niya will be repeating siya. Okay? Thus, ang atong condition, it will not be less than there, but it should be greater than. Okay? So, when we try to run the code, I'm going to remove this one. Enter number. So, I'm going to enter 6. Dapat, or let's say, let's start with 1. Dapat ma-terminate siya. Okay? Yun. Process exited. So, sakto. Okay? Yung atong problem is, okay, if the number inputted is not less than 5, require the user to re-enter a new number. So, pag mag-enter po kung 4, ayun, ito. Pag mag-enter ka ako og 7. If I'm going to enter 7, now, the code is running correctly so far. Kay 7 is not less than to 5. So, meaning, ipare-enter niya og value na 6, 8, okay, 100. And those are not less than 5. Okay? It's 5 less than 5. It's false. So, kung mag-enter ko 5, ipare-enter gihapon ko. Okay? So, wait lang. The number is greater than 5. Okay. It should be, okay, yeah. Unfortunately, naisayop dire sa ako ang code ay dapat, it's not kung it's less than 5. So, dapat, ang akong gibutang dire dapat is greater than to 4 dayon ni siya. Okay, 5 is not anuman. So, dapat 4 ni, greater than to 4 ni siya. Okay? Or should I say also greater than or equal to 5. Anyways, you get the point man po dayon sa yang execution niya. Okay? So, once you run the code again, ako lang ako na lang ibalik para ma-check na to. So, 2, again, the code exited since ang 2 is less than to 5 man dayon siya. Okay? So, supposedly, this type of loop is being utilized also here is, again, nakuha niya ang main nga context when we use the do while, which is na at least one execution sa loop. Kaya kung while magud ta, as I mentioned earlier, we do not know yet kung sa gi-enter ni user. So kung mag-enter ta, then ibalik na pod nato. Actually, we can use while, pero problema, magdagan og line sa code nga itong buhaton. Okay? And we're going to show you ing ani ang iyahang result dayon. I-execute na ni once. Kaya, so naana siya. Okay. Tapos, after ana niya, ay palit ta mag-while. So, while, then, ato na condition nga, is the number, tawag ani, less than, less than 5. So, greater than 5, less than 5 man ato result, ito na po siya ibalik na po dayon o print na po dari or enter na po dayon. So, daghan tag part sa codes, kaya ano, ipabalik-balik man na to sa because we wanted to have the user to be inputted first. Okay? Or unless ato himuon ni diri nga i-default value nga 0 which is makasulod sa dapat, which is true ra gihapon. But as I am saying, medyo mas simpler, mas dali ang approach, mas straightforward, and this is the purpose why we are using also the do loop para sa aning nga mga problems. If there is certain part of the code that needs to be executed first, yun siya. Now, you need to observe also, that's why I pause kanina, unfortunately natabunan lang. Observe also that there is no an increment or decrement nga part or component sa atong loop dire. This is because ang delineation or ang pag-verify nato kung magpadayon ang loop or dili is dependent on the input ni user. Thus, dili fix ang iteration, meaning dili fix ang pagbalik-balik sa ato ang loop. Okay? This is why we are using the do while and while for this exact na mga purpose. Kapag dili fix ang execution sa loop nato, meaning dili exact ang number sa pagbalik-balik, then we use those either two types, depende na dahil na siya kung kailangan ipa-execute at least once or dili ipa-execute at least once ang code depending on your condition. So this is the do while. Okay? If you have questions, you may send the question via sa chat box nato. Don't forget to comment your name for your attendance. Okay? Do the activities nga naka-attach ani nga lesson sa class. Thank you.